The architects of Resurgence.
In the deep vernacular of the wild, we know the river's many voices. We know its gentle murmurs in the summer heat and its playful splashes against the rocks. But there are nights, dark, terrifying nights, when the river forgets its lullaby. Instead, it screams. Tonight, the water does not flow, it convulses, reflecting the jagged scars of lightning across a sky torn asunder. We thought we knew these waters. We have lived within the rhythm of the tides and the seasons for generations. But tonight, the river carries a burden it has never known before. It is not just water, it is a heavy, suffocating beast, thick with the memory of a disturbed earth. Through the driving rain, we see them, the unnatural eyes of monsters on the horizon, cold, artificial lights sweeping across the valley, signaling a danger far greater than any storm. It happened in the blink of an eye. The sanctuary we built, stick by stick, generation by generation, faced a force it could not withstand. A massive log, its end sheared flat by the cold bite of a chainsaw, became a battering ram in the grip of the flood. With a sickening crack that pierced through the roar of the water, our fortress was breached. Our sanctuary collapsed in a single, violent breath. Chaos took hold. The water was no longer a home, it was a black void pulling us down. I felt the current seize me, a cold hand dragging me into the depths. The world spun, darkness, debris, and the crushing weight of the flood. And then, silence. The absolute, terrifying silence of the void swallowing everything we ever loved. To truly understand the depth of this sorrow, you must first understand what was stolen. You must remember the valley as it was 6 months ago. Before the clouds turned dark, this place was a masterpiece of tranquility. A perfect symphony where the wind, the water, and the sky moved in harmony. The lake was a mirror, holding the heavens in its stillness. This was my family, my partner, my life, and our little ones, eyes bright with curiosity, fur smelling of sunshine and sweet grass. They knew nothing of the world's harshness, nothing of smoke or machines. Their entire universe revolved round the safety of the lodge and the gentle lap of the water against the shore. It was a golden age of innocence. Nature has equipped us with a unique gift. Our teeth, painted in the vibrant orange of iron-rich enamel, are harder than the wood we shape. But make no mistake, we are not destroyers. When we fell a willow, we do not do it to ruin the land. We do it to create. Every bite, every rhythmic crunch of wood, is an act of creation, a step towards building a world where life can flourish. Look beneath the surface, and you will see the truth of our labor. This dam is not merely a pile of sticks, it is a living lung for the river. It filters the silt, trapping the heavy sediments that choke the stream. It transforms rushing torrents into clear, life-giving pools. We are the stewards of the water, creating a sanctuary where the aquatic world can breathe. We do not build for ourselves alone. Our work ripples outward, touching every life in the valley. The kingfisher finds his perch, the trout finds his shade, the deer finds a cool drink at the water's edge. They all rely on the stillness we engineer. It is a delicate, absolute balance, a web of life held together by the branches we weave. And so, we pass this sacred duty to our children. We teach them that to be a beaver is to carry a responsibility. It is not enough to simply exist. We teach them that we are born to shape the world, to leave it better than we found it. Build. We tell them, build for the safety of the family, and for the health of the stream. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the water in hues of violet and gold, we would retreat to our lodge, entering through the hidden door beneath the surface. Safe, warm, together. In our naivety, we believed this peace was eternal. We thought the river would always be kind. But change did not come on the wind, it came through the earth. At first, it was just a tremor, a strange vibration that traveled through the soil, unsettling our sleep. The enemy did not approach with claws or fangs, but with the grinding gears of progress. From the highlands, a red scar began to tear through the green canopy. They stripped the land of its skin. The protective embrace of the forest was gone, leaving the earth naked and vulnerable. And when the rains came, the land bled. Red mud, thick and cloying, poured from the hillsides, dissolving the soil into a weeping wound that bled directly into our home. The impact was immediate and devastating. The crystal-clear water turned into a suffocating soup of sediment. The river was choking. Our neighbors, the delicate fish, the sensitive amphibians, began to float to the surface, bellies up, gasping for oxygen that was no longer there. The water, once our source of life, had become a graveyard. I surfaced, my nose twitching, smelling the heavy scent of disaster. I slapped my tail, crack, the alarm signal echoing across the water. We tried. By the spirits of our ancestors. We tried. We worked to reinforce the dam, to filter the onslaught. But how does a family of beavers stand against a mountain of sliding mud? How do we fight the very earth collapsing upon us? And then, that night returned. The mudslide did not just take our home, it erased our history. The lodge was swept away like a leaf in a gale. In the roaring darkness, amidst the terrified cries of the forest creatures, I reached out for them. But the current was too strong. We were scattered. The family was broken. Dawn broke over a battlefield. The sun rose. But it brought no warmth. Only the harsh illumination of loss. The valley was a monochrome wasteland of brown sludge. The trees lay snapped and twisted. The birds were silent. It was a graveyard of dreams, where the river once sang. I found myself alone on a cold rock, shivering not from the water, but from a hollow emptiness inside. I looked downstream, searching for a sign, a movement, a sound. Nothing. The despair settled on my shoulders, heavier than the largest timber I had ever hauled. I had lost her. I had lost them. The silence was deafening. But grief is a luxury we cannot afford in the wild. A faint sound broke my trance, a soft, trembling whimper. I turned. And there, huddled beneath the tangled roots of a fallen giant, were two small, shivering forms, my children, alive. As I looked into their terrified eyes, the despair evaporated. I realized then, I did not have permission to give up. I dug my claws into the slick mud, feeling the earth beneath the slime. I stood up. We are not predators with sharp talons to fight, we are not swift runners to flee. We are builders. It is written in our blood, in our bones. When our world is destroyed, we do the only thing we know how to do, we rebuild. The work began. It was slow. It was painful. I dragged the heavy branches, my muscles burning with exertion. Beside me, my little ones, driven by instinct and survival, carried the smaller twigs. The first stone was placed. The first branch was woven against the current. With every stick, we were not just building a dam, we were stitching the river's wound. We worked through the days and into the nights. We packed mud into the crevices, smoothing it with our tails, sealing the gaps against the flow. Every layer of mud was a defiance against destruction. Every woven branch was a prayer for the future. We built with our grief, and we cemented it with our hope. And slowly, the miracle happened. As the wall rose, the angry rush of the water began to slow. The dam held back the torrent, allowing the heavy silt to settle to the bottom. The churning brown surface began to calm, and clarity started to return. The river stopped fighting us and began to rest. Peace was returning to the valley. With clear water came life. From the nutrient-rich mud we had trapped, green shoots began to pierce through. Grasses, saplings, wildflowers, they erupted from the earth in a celebration of survival. The birds returned, their songs starting as a whisper and growing into a chorus. The scar on the land began to heal, covered by the gentle bandage of nature. Then, the two-legged giants returned. But this time, the roar of machines was absent. They stood on the banks, holding tools of planting, not cutting. They looked at our dam, the structure that had saved the valley from erosion, and they smiled. They nodded, turned, and walked away. Perhaps, in the silence of the recovering forest, they finally understood. We are not competitors, we are partners. But the work was not the only thing that needed healing. As I looked out over the calm water, a small ripple broke the surface far in the distance. A head emerged. A small scar on the nose. My heart stopped. It was her. She had survived the darkness. She had fought her way back to us. We plunged into the water. A family made whole again. We gathered on the crest of the new dam, stronger, thicker, and more resilient than the one before. We rubbed our noses together, breathing in the scent of survival and love. The lodge is rebuilt. Yes. But it is this bond, this unbreakable connection, that truly makes it a home. It is built on the foundation of our unity. We may seem small in the grand scheme of this vast wilderness, but our dreams are large. As the camera pulls back, revealing the emerald jewel of our pond amidst the recovering forest, know this: as long as the river flows, we will be here. We will build. We will protect. We are the keepers of the water, the guardians of the pulse of life. And we are here to stay.